Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here at BLZ, seeing how much further down it could go. I got a ton of requests. I appreciate your patience too, also with me. I've been out of the office for last week, so it's good to be back here, get you guys what you want and what you need, because I got a large list of requests actually over in our Discord, where a lot of folks are asking for me to cover certain coins. I'll try to get to them as soon as possible. This coin was the second most requested outside of Bitcoin, so I want to kind of touch on that. Important thing to note also too, just quickly here, congratulations to our community members here. I don't know if you're aware of this. I did post this on my Telegram and my Twitter, but we got 163% profit in 9 days on a 5x leverage trade. Okay, so congrats again to everyone there for our BLZ all take profit targets achieved. I'm going to talk about why we had the specific targets in place, because folks were asking why that 21.5 cent mark was my final profit target for this coin. Main reason why, and it's just really easy to touch on, I can touch on it now, is it was a previous resistance level. If you go back here to this range here, we see a lot of volume where the price wicked up twice, almost a double top before the price pulled back, and a third time to retest that level. So it's going to be a common area for the price to want to pull back to or gravitate towards to sweep that liquidity. Last but not least, also, is the simple fact that it's a 1.618 Fibonacci retracement level. Anytime you have this Fibonacci retracement levels here, again, I pulled the fibs from the most recent high to the most recent low, it gives you that 1.618. That's the most common retracement area if the price were to exceed past that 1.0 level. Okay, so once we broke through this higher high here, we effectively continued to that overextension. Okay, so again, a few little things kind of factor in. 0.618, either 1.618, 2.618, 0.618, most common retracement area in Fibonacci. Okay, so again, that is a very, very strong, just the main reason why I set those targets. Okay, again, if you're curious about that, available information is over on Discord and of course our Twitter and Telegram. So what we're going to want to talk about here with this pullback is how much further is it going to go down? Right, well, we got this nice, sweet little bounce, tentative, of course, but nice, sweet little bounce. You see this most recent high, and the price comes back down to retest that recent high as a low. It's common for the price to continue higher from there. Okay, so no guarantees here, but there's a decent chance we could very well see the price just go up from here. All right, now I cannot, attest to that, but there is 100% certainty that this is a potential new support level. You got to keep in mind though, look at all this volume. There's very, very low amount of volume in this range. This is not great in the overall sense of things, okay? We need to build more volume. But the truth is, in the last 2 weeks here worth of trading, we see the second most amount of volume right here in this range between 14 and 16 cents. So my speculation is the price will probably be more likely to come back down to this 0.786 or 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level and bounce from there. It'd be much more probable for the price to kind of come to that area than it would be just bouncing right from this most recent high. Main reason I say that is because, again, volume. We don't have a ton of volume in this new range. But if we take a look at most recent volume, we can see we're averaging ourselves out right below this average, this simple moving average, okay? Now, when you are averaging yourself out on volume below that level, the price action shouldn't be able to sustain its highest point. This is exactly why a lot of our community members were able to short this coin, okay? Mainly because it's overextended leading into the upside. We hit that point, 1.618 fib, and they pull it back. I didn't get a chance to catch that short just because we were on, again, I was on vacation, traveling all day yesterday, but yesterday would have been a perfect opportunity to get on in there. All right, so again, hindsight's 2020. We know that, right? What's going to happen in the future? What's our foresight look like here? Well, let's talk about that. We got RSI hanging out here right around 62. Now, that number isn't important. What's important here is that we're back below 70 and above 50. That still gives us a bullish continuation potential. And when I say bullish continuation, I mean, simply put, we've got a lot of room for downside. It could still be considered a bullish continuation, though. You got to recognize the price could continue to come down here, and this is still considered to be a bull run. It makes sense. What comes up must come down, okay? It's very rare for coins just to continue to go as this high without correction, okay? So this is a very standard thing. This is a very good thing. That being said, now that we've got everything kind of in place here, we can see that we're still above the 20, the 50, and the 200-day simple moving average. That isn't going to change a thing, okay? So those things are here to stay. We're going to see that happen for quite some time. We're still honoring this ascending trend here. We could even extend this out a little bit further, just give us perspective that we're still making higher lows, okay? Again, even if the price comes all the way down here to 0.382, that's that 14-cent mark, there's a strong chance we'll get a bounce from there. In fact, my next consideration for a long is between 14 and 16 cents, just based on the volume profile and that ascending trend. I prefer to buy those kind of dips, not the dip that you see right now, just barely retesting a recent candle wick. There's not a lot of certainty in that, okay? So be careful just taking a long right now because it seems like a good opportunity. It's a great chance it could continue up, but there's even better chance it'll continue lower, okay? So all the more reason to just be careful. If you're going to be shorting, make sure you use low position size, low leverage. Always recommend that. Some folks are using 20, 25x. I don't think that's wise. It depends on how long you're planning to hold, right? If you're just holding for a short amount of time, different story. In and out, all good. But with this right here, we can see we are getting to this overextended state. But if you look at BLZ in its previous time, when it hit a 9, it continued much further. So just because we're hitting a 9 right now doesn't mean it won't continue lower, but just know we have been running for 36 hours straight in the downward direction, okay? So all the more reason to consider potential long here, but if you're going to do that, extremely low position size, low leverage, okay? I do not recommend taking a long just yet. I'd much rather wait until we see some of these liquidity levels get swept. We got a pretty large amount of liquidity here between 15 and 16.5, roughly 17. So 15 to 17 would be a decent long position. And again, the main reason why is because we got the most amount of volume, well, second amount of most volume here between 14 to 16. Okay, so I'm more so interested in an entry there in that level. I'm going to go ahead and add an alert here just at the 15-cent mark, just so I can kind of roughly take entry, or sorry, correction, roughly reevaluate before I take entry, because that would be a consideration for me again between 14 and 15 cents. Mainly because again we have this liquidity level there that could be swept before the next leg up. Last but not least, let's go ahead and just reference here. We are bouncing, correction, potential bounce off 50. We are not bouncing. Price is continuing actually lower than that level. So unless the price recovers immediately, we're probably going to see us swing lower into that 30 to 50 range. What does that mean? Well, it implies that we are bearish at this point. It doesn't imply the price is going to continue to drop, but it does imply that now that we're in that range, we don't have any more support. We have more likelihood for the price to continue lower. Okay, that's really all that it means. Again, until this starts to swing upwards, we can expect it to continue lower. We can also take a look at our simple moving averages and realize we've lost the 20-day SMA and the 4-hour, and then of course 50 is working its way up. I'm again more so interested in the 200-day SMA right here between 14 and 15 cents. Okay, so once more, again, I don't like to short coins like this that are overextended to the downside after this kind of momentous trend. Honestly, me shorting, I try not to short many coins that are overextended like this because they just keep running oftentimes. But this is one of those natural corrections, and it makes sense for the price to continue lower. So in truth, even though I don't want to short this myself, you'd be safer to short now than you would trying to go long. Okay, just keep in mind a lot of the cards are stacking more bearishly than bullish, but don't misinterpret. This coin is still in a bullish ascending trend in the overall sense of things, just in a larger time frame. But smaller time frames, just say the daily or 4-hour in this example, we're definitely seeing a continuation to the downside. Take a look at the hourly. We are starting to see a little bit of a volume increase here as the price comes down to stabilize with its most recent high at about 17 cents. So once again, there is a small possibility that the price will continue higher from here. Is it a probability? No. We could very well see a retest here of this recent resistance level at about 19.5 and then come back down to that 15-cent mark. I think that's a lot more probable here than it would be otherwise. Okay, let's go ahead and put a dash line there. I'll send this out too. Also keep in mind, on my Twitter here, I do send out potential playout charts. Like I sent one here for Bitcoin, for example, where we got a couple of different scenarios here for Bitcoin. Bitcoin could be hitting its bottom. And what's that mean for BLZ? It doesn't mean it's going to bounce, honestly, because BLZ does what it wants when it wants at this point. Okay, it's not synonymous with Bitcoin, but it's starting to align itself with Bitcoin as it starts to come back down and naturalize itselse with less volume. Okay, as volume comes away from coins, more likelihood they're going to behave similarly to Bitcoin. All right, so that's the 1 hour. Last thing we want to summarize here with is just TD sequential. We hit this overextended state, bouncing potentially once again at this level. We do see the price come up. It's more likely to dead cat bounce and reject off this recent resistance level and come back down. So my goal is to take a long between 14 to 15 cents. That's really what I'm leaning more towards. So I have an alert there at about 15.5 to reevaluate when it comes to that level. It may not. We may miss our opportunity, but hey, cryptocurrency is filled with missed opportunities. You got to recognize it's just a normal part of the business, and that's the way it goes. And yes, I use the word business. I didn't use the word gambling because that's not what you do in trading. If you're gambling, honestly, anything over 20x leverage is gambling. If you're doing that, you're doing yourself a disservice for long-term gains, long-term profits. Yes, you'll get lucky a few times, but it doesn't happen, cannot consistently do that unless you are a savant, and very few of those are around. Now, again, not saying it's not a thing. But for the most part, if you're kind of a newer slash intermediate trader, keep it safer. Lower position size, lower leverage. That's what we do. Again, we got 160 some odd percent on this BLZ trade here recently on a 5x leverage trade. Some of our traders took a 10 to 20x leverage trade and took a killing on that one. Okay. Again, these things happen. Just try not to be super consistent with high leverage because it's difficult to be super consistent. All right. I think you probably know what I'm talking about if you've been there. If you're newer and you haven't experienced that yet, it'll happen. All right. Anyways, I like to be the voice of reason here. So if you found benefit, like, subscribe, follow. Do us a favor, jump on over to our Discord and help us grow our Discord community. We got some awesome resources there, both free and, of course, a paid service if you want to consider being part of our, again, premium group where you can benefit from trades like this, 163% in 9 days. That doesn't always happen, but for the most part, we do get a lot of consistency there. We see a good 20 to 30% trades on average within about 1 or 2 weeks. And these are just kind of consistent things that happen in the actual environment that we're in right now. Okay, so different stories, but when the market comes back on fire, these signals start cranking. But for right now, we're taking the wins when we can, right? Every couple of days, nice little 20, 30%. Your portfolio grows that way. That's kind of how it works. You want to be, jump on over to our automated trades. Jump on down, cryptocash.tag is the site, link down below. Also be sure to check out our sponsors too. We got, BingX for our non-US residents. And of course, if you're in the US and you want to benefit from a really good exchange, link down below for BingX. They are a great exchange. They do work very well for a lot of my members here in the US. And we actually have some signals that you can follow there as well. It's just a really cool experience. Be sure to check that out. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.